this book, you would encounter the power of words. These are his songs. Back to Come is one of the songs here. Well, he says, the earth is spinning on its axis, and the sun is beaming bright at noon. The rain is falling in due season, and I'm happy for those whose stocks are rising. You see, the road I work is not easy. I halt in places no one can see. Where do you halt?
Oh yeah, places no one can see.
Can I see it?
No one can see them one day.
Why?
And this applies to all of us. We all carry our silent scars and our hurts, you know. People cannot see them. And if we choose to think about them, if we choose to expose them or choose to, we don't bring what hurts us. We do not bring our inefficiencies into this to inflict pain on society. We seek to resolve them within. We find a way to resolve them. And we can use music, we can use words, we can use other things to resolve. I find a lot of people, a lot of the leaders we have, and that's why I understand them, that they use the pain they have, the lack that they have in their personalities, the hurts that they carry inside, they use that to inflict pain on others. And so when people understand that, they will stop hating those they are looking at as, all these people have destroyed, they have destroyed us, they are... No, if you understand that a lot of things go back to people's childhoods. And if you have a bad leader, go and check about his childhood. If you see a man who cannot love, who cannot care for his own people, who cannot do things that will benefit his people, you go and check how he grew up. You will find that this is somebody who needs help. Not for you to be angry with them, it's for you to understand it and then say, in our time, we will try to do differently, we'll try to do better.
Are you saying many members of our political class need help?
They need help.
How do we help them?
Well, by first letting them realize that this is where the problem is. Because many of them don't seem to understand, they don't realize it. Many adults who are hurting and who have brought their childhood abuse, the childhood traumas, and they've brought them now to reflect on their adult life. And you see it everywhere. You see it in schools, you see it in business, you see it in music, you see it in sports, you see it in all kinds of industries. Any industry you can think about, you see that. In politics, you see it. In governance, in Nigeria, you will see it. People whose early childhood was actually spoiled by certain experiences that many of them have buried. And that's why when they've grown up now, you see them, they're not capable of loving people, of caring for people, of doing things that will benefit their society. Because you ask yourself, if somebody is in this position of power, why should he be happy to see people suffering like this? But you see, something is wrong somewhere. Something was wrong in their upbringing. Those who have been brought up well, those who have been fed love from early childhood, they will do better things for their societies. So we need to understand these people. We need to understand and then tell ourselves, not to judge them, not to castigate them, but tell ourselves that we should learn to do better, that we should raise our children properly now, because these are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. If you feed them love, if you teach them all the right principles of truth and hard work and honesty and humility and courage and perseverance and contentment, if you teach our children that, we create a generation that is thinking like that, this country will be... That's why I believe this country is going to change. Things are going to change. All over Africa, we're going to see change. It seems like a dream now. But, yeah, we talked about dreams already. Dreams do come true.
He said if you watch leaders that treat their people badly, their childhood, there's something wrong with it. You see, it is only the unseen power of love that can open the heart of a nation. We must have leaders who love the people and the land. That is when you are going to tackle the kind of corruption we have. You know, the kind of corruption we have is disorganized. You cannot control and distribute wealth the way it should be done. That is why corruption should be tamed. That is why the state is a tool to distribute wealth. That is what politics is about. Who gets what? That is why there is government. That is why you now set the rules. You now have rule of law. the essence is to systematically distribute wealth, the resource of the state. So when the rule of law is weak, that is when corruption comes in. People grab it. Some do well with it. And because they grab it, they hide it. You cannot locate it. So it becomes distorted. That is the effect of corruption. It becomes distorted. It is when wealth is organized, whether by a dictatorship or whatever form of government, when you organize the resource of a state, then you can use it systematically to drive development. That is why China, not being a democracy, is wealthy. It has a system to organize the resource of the state and deploy it effectively. You have the monarchs in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, in Qatar. They are not democracies, but they have a platform, a framework to organize wealth and distribute it effectively. We don't have that in Africa. Because we don't have it, people grab it. And when they grab it, they don't know the value. Most times they misuse it. Just imagine a colleague photographer on the road now who is struggling to make. Many young Nigerians have not owned 1 million naira in their account. So imagine that young boy immediately just hits 100 million. He goes mad. That's why you see why Yahoo boys, they go mad. They don't know what to do with the money. They begin to spend. And that's what happens to politicians when they steal billions. They don't know what to do with it. So the next thing, he builds one house here, build another house, they buy this car, and he parks all the cars. He drives one in a year. He's mad. He builds houses everywhere. They are empty. Nobody's buying them. Nobody's living there. There's something wrong with his brain. He has gone mad. You know, money can drive you crazy. Can make you sleepless. You won't sleep. If I put some young persons now, if I drop like 10 million naira in your account, now sleep will disappear from your head. You won't know what to do. You will run mad. And that is why money must not come that way. Money must come in an organized way. That is why most gamblers are wasteful. He makes money today, tomorrow he's broke. Money must come in an organized way. That is the essence of the state. Having said that, let's go back to Liberia. And what are the lessons to learn from William Tobert? He became the president of Liberia in 1971. He tended his gardens with care, cultivating beauty amid growing unrest. William Tobert was born in 1913 into Liberia's privileged class as a descendant of freed American slaves who had established the country in 1847. He rose within the true Whig Party, which had controlled Liberian politics since 1878. After serving as vice president under William Tubman, Tobert assumed the presidency in 1971, following Tubman's death. You know, Nnamdi Azikiwe wrote a book on Liberia. His PhD thesis was about Liberia in world politics. So if you follow the diplomacy of the Nigerian Civil War, there was a prominent name that mattered in that diplomacy, William Tubman. At some point, Nnamdi Azikiwe left Biafra, saying he wants to go and see William Tubman. That's a story for another time. But Nnamdi Azikiwe's PhD thesis is on Liberia in world politics. Though Tobert initially pledged reforms, his government fell in a violent overthrow 9 years later. While Tobert advocated for Pan-Africanism, even chairing the Organization of African Unity in 1979, domestic unrest intensified under his rule. What was the issue? The indigenous majority in Liberia had started grumbling that they have never governed. How come is the Americo-Liberian that have been governing for over a century? So by this time, tensions were boiling over. the William Tubmans and the Tobarts of this world did not see. Tubman did not learn from the Nigerian Civil War because he was one of the top statesmen in Africa at the time who were trying to settle the Nigerian Civil War. But he did not learn that his own country was going to boil. He did not see that you must manage diversity. That if you don't, you will pay for it. At the moment, Nigeria is mismanaging its diversity. It is only the members of the political class that are enjoying the diversity because they are all in cahoot, ransacking the wealth of the state. Why the people are taking on themselves? Poverty is making war on the people. Violence making war on the people. It's expanding. Tobert did not see it coming. That the Americo-Liberian did not think on time to redefine the state to meet the expectations of the indigenous people. They took it for granted. Indigenous majority, historically marginalized by the Americo-Liberian elite, grew increasingly discontent due to economic stagnation and corruption accusations. In April 1979, protests erupted over rice price increases, leading to the rice riots. Security forces killed dozens of demonstrators, and the brutal crackdown fatally weakened Tobart's authority as president. The rice riots became the crack in Liberia's foundation, a sign that the old order was crumbling. Tobert did not see it. Then April 12, 1980 came. Some call it the night the bayonets came. It was around 1 a.m. on April 12, 1980. 28-year-old Sergeant Samuel Doe, I said captain. Chief Bolaniwa corrected me. Yes. I have sergeant in my script. Thank you, Chief Bolaniwa. 28-year-old Sergeant Samuel Doe and 17 soldiers crept through the executive mansion halls. Gang, dum, 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 boom. Gagan. Tobert was tending his roses. Tobert was sleeping. Tension was boiling in the heart of the people. Boom, boom, boom. The political class did not see it coming. So, on the 12th of April 1980, Sergeant Samuel Doe and 17 soldiers crept through the executive mansion hall. They went to the presidential residence. They found Tobert. He was sleeping. He was in his pajamas. They opened fire on him. By dawn, Samuel Doe made an announcement on radio saying that the People's Redemption Council has come to redeem you. That is a line from his broadcast. The People's Redemption Council has come to redeem you. Samuel Doe was a man of little education, little depth, and now he has power. Power from the barrels of guns. By this time, the Ghana president lay dead in a mass grave. His roses left to wither. Remember the beach of blood? Not just Tobert. Samuel Doe and his men were not done. They set up a kangaroo court. 10 days later, 10 days after the murder of Tobert, one of the most gruesome scenes in modern African history unfolded in Liberia. You see, Liberia fought a bloody civil war. 2 civil wars, remember? Now, I'm laying the foundation. These were the reasons the war came. They didn't see it coming. They didn't learn. 10 days later, one of the most gruesome scenes in modern African history unfolded in Liberia. At the Barclay Training Center beach, 13 of Tobart's top officials, including the Chief Justice of Liberia, James Perry, the Finance Minister under Tobart, Frank Stewart, you can see their names, Frank Stewart, and the Foreign Minister under Tobart, Charles Cecil Dennis, were stripped to their underwear, bound to poles, and they were executed by firing squad. 13 of them, former ministers, including the Chief Justice of Liberia, were executed in the open. Liberians were gathered watching. They were jeering at them. They were celebrating. They were singing. They were happy. But they were shooting the future. That is why extreme actions have dangerous repercussions. You saw the repercussion of the extreme actions of the January 1966 coup planners in Nigeria. Their action was also extreme. You saw the reaction. The reaction boiled over and it became a civil war. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The bad governance being inflicted on the Nigerian people is action. There is a reaction that is equal to it that will come from the people. They will resist in their own ways. Today, if you employ many Nigerians in your business, the first thing they do is how to steal from you. It is a reaction. That is all, not all Nigerians. You also have many good ones. Yahoo, fraud is a reaction against bad governance. Ritual killings for money is a reaction against bad governance. Kidnapping, terrorism. The declaration of the state of Biafra, an intention, is a reaction against bad governance. And if you fight it with bullet alone, you lose. You worsen it. Because more bullets will come. As you shoot more bullets, they get their own bullet and shoot back. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Because when you say the army is human being. The army comes from a family. When you say he's a soldier, it comes from a family now. So it's the uniform that differentiates him on a good day. Because he wears uniform and he has a gun. So if you give me, I'm wearing my dashiki now, if I'm wearing my dashiki, if I get an AK-47, I become a soldier. My uniform becomes my dashiki. I can take on the soldier on the street. He might be more skillful, but I can take him on. That's the point. That is why you see guerrillas, Boko Haram are killing Nigerian soldiers. You can take them on. You can also train. So Boko Haram is a reaction against bad governance that the northern elite have inflicted on their people over the years before independence. Feudalism is a reaction against feudalism. And it will not take a symbolic form. That same religion that you use to oppress them, they also use the religion as a tool for war. It's a reaction. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. A body will continue in its state of rest, or if it's in motion, will continue to move with uniform speed in a straight line, unless it is acted upon by a force. That is the first law of motion. I explained the political implications of the law last week. I will summarize them again. It happened in Liberia. They didn't study it. They didn't see it coming. It is happening in Nigeria. People are being killed in large number in Benue and Plateau. And you think there will not be future reactions? There will be, because the action has been implanted. So that action will lead to a reaction that will match the action. And that is where government comes in. What is going on in the Benue, in Plateau? It is a clear example of the failure of governance and leadership in Nigeria. Buhari could not tame it. He worsened it. Tinubu is struggling with it. He will worsen it. Because the character of the leadership at any time is the action. And the reaction at any time represents the character of the leadership. Garbage in, garbage out. If the political class continues to steal and ransack the psychology of the state, you will get more violence. It is a rule. It's a theory. It's a framework. Liberia saw it. Samuel Doe took Tobat out. His men were executed at the Barclay Training Center beach, 13 of them. The shots rang out, one by one. Liberia's old guard fell. The tide carried their blood into the sea. But mind you, the present president of Liberia became a minister under that government that massacred Tobat's men. The present president became a minister under Samuel Doe. The lessons of history. Remember, Liberia produced the first female president in Africa, Salif. Have you read the history of Salif? History is beautiful. Charles Taylor came to Nigeria. The shots rang out, one by one. Liberia's old guard fell. The tide carried their blood into the sea. A crowd of onlookers, including foreign journalists, witnessed the killings which were broadcast worldwide. The executions symbolized the violent end of Americo-Liberian rule and plunged Liberia into an era of instability. Samuel Doe's regime from 1980 to 1990 replaced the old oppression with new brutality. The same indigenous people that were complaining, they got power. They got power for 10 years. Samuel Doe was from the tribe Kran. The Kran tribe under Samuel Doe began to do what they accused Tobat of doing. The way Nigerians scream, Buhari has Fulanized government. Buhari has Fulanized government. Yorubas scream, this is unacceptable. What has Tinubu done? He has not Yorubalized government. We repeat ourselves. Who knows what the next president will be? Because the job man, he brings all the job people. Take over. It's our time. Enjoy. Enjoy. Fulanis enjoyed under Buhari. The Northerners enjoyed. Let Yorubas enjoy, my friend. What is good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Let's enjoy. We are sowing the seeds of conflict as we go. Nigeria must not boil over. In 1985, Doe clung to power through a sham election, imprisoning opposition leaders like Ellen Sirleaf Johnson. Ellen Sirleaf Johnson. In 1985, Samuel Doe sent her to prison. She became one of those attacking Samuel Doe. While she was attacking Samuel Doe, the present president of Liberia was a minister in the government of Samuel Doe. Ellen Sirleaf Johnson was a Tobat person. Samuel Doe sent her to prison. And the fraudulent victory of that 1985 so-called election destroyed the illusion of democracy. Then came September 9th, 1990. Another tribe man called Prince Johnson from another tribe, this time among the indigenous tribe, also got angry that the Kran tribe are dominating Liberia. What? Enough. We will not take it. Tribal issues. It started with Americo-Liberian. Then Samuel Doe the man from the Kran ethnic group took over, Yemi Johnson and co. became angry. That enough. It must get to us. We fight on the basis of tribe, not our humanity. So rebel leader Johnson started a military action against Samuel Doe. I don't know how they captured him like a cock. They just grabbed the president, just like that. Rebels. They captured Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe was acting like a baby. I was watching it again. The same Samuel Doe that shot Tolbert was now crying. Don't kill me, Johnson. Johnson, don't kill me. Johnson, please, Johnson. I could watch Johnson. They tied him to a car. They turned on the camera. They began to drag him along the streets of Liberia. He was alive until they dragged him to death. They sliced off his ears while he screamed. The man who ended Tolbert's life begged for mercy as his own slipped away. After this break, you will listen to the story of Colonel Adeni Ushakwade retired. He fought in Liberia. He will tell us the story of the time. Stay tuned, stay cool.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Splash FM 105.5.